Are you rolling? Okay. Hi, everybody. My name's Jay Lund. Know quite a few of you here. We've been doing these meetings for a while. My partner and I were just laughing about a meeting we had down here at the church like 8 years ago, where it might have been closer to 9 years ago. I had little kids, and some bats flew in the room in the middle of the presentation, and it was pretty chaotic. We were presenting some apartments at that time, so haven't been back in a while. But we've been doing this for 10 years now. So we bought the buildings down in the corner, 40th and Farnam, where Mula and Archetype and Scriptown were almost exactly 10 years ago. And it's been a great long 10 years. And the building you're sitting in today was between this and the project up on the screen here. Are really kind of the end of a 10-12 year development here. So bringing this building back to life, actually the building across the street, kind of bringing that back into a third-party occupied tenant building, and after Kiewit left, that was important, and then filling in this big parking lot, which is this building here that is the big hole in the ground. So for those that are not familiar, there's a big hole in the ground next door. The primary kind of directive, or the objective, I should say, of the project was parking. We all talk about parking every day. I actually talk about it more now than I used to in a lot of ways. So we partnered with the city of Omaha to build a public parking garage on this lot. So it's a 385 stall public parking garage that is going to be owned and operated by the city of Omaha. So 100% public. That will be for daily and monthly renters, but that'll all be managed through the Park Omaha system, which they want to integrate with all the meters and all the parking garages that they're buying from Mutual of Omaha, and they're building downtown, and it's part of the Streetcar system, which we'll talk about a little bit later. I used to do some things on that. So for those that are not familiar, this is the building. It's a parking garage with a building on top of it. So it's a 9-story building. There's 161 apartments. The top 2 floors are bigger apartments. They're 2 and 3 bedrooms, kind of designed maybe more for empty nesters and a little bit higher end kind of renter. And then floors 5, 6, and 7 are kind of typical of what we've built in the neighborhood, especially maybe similar to the project across the street called Blackstone Corner, which has been a great building for us and for the neighborhood. The 4th floor, which is kind of integrated with the parking garage, has a little bit more of an industrial feel on the interior, so we're gonna market those and lease those hopefully as like artist lofts. So there are 14 units there, and we're excited about that. And then the garage kind of takes up the base here, and then the whole ground floor facing Farnam Street is retail space. There's 18,000 feet of that. I think there's about 9 bays total, and we specifically designed those bays to be as small as we could get, because it feels like the larger the bays, the higher the rent, maybe more national tenants, the harder it is to make a business to work. So we like the smaller bays. It makes it easier for local businesses. It makes it easier for any business to pay the rent and survive today. So this is the Farnam Street view looking east, and then this is the Harney Street view, also looking east. So you can see the this is the 38th Street garage. Wayne and I were just talking about this, and I didn't have great answers, but so there's an entrance here off 38th, also here on Harney. and then also I believe it's an exit only on 37th Street. So the design has evolved a little bit, and we have more of sort of a public art aspect to it. This is actually a concept that I saw down in Kansas City a year or so ago that I'll flip to in a second, but having as much kind of like greenery to screen on the ground floor, and then public art on this large kind of canvas here, and then on the east-facing campus was a goal of ours. So I just want to show that real quick. So that's the Harney Street elevation looking north. You can kind of see the slope of the garage. So this, I'll show you in a second here, is kind of like a large mesh screen that can be anything we want at this point. So kind of happy to take some input on that, but we want it, public art has been a thing of focus with the Blackstone BID and the BBA for the last couple years, and so we think this could be really cool. This was, it's kind of hard to see here. You can kind of see, here's the kind of this typical parking garage here, and then they put up this, there's like a mesh screen. Here's another one. You can kind of see, here's the parking garage in the background and a mesh screen. So another one here, parking garage with the screen on top of it. So I'm excited about that. Again, looking for kind of feedback. What we have here today is sort of a, you can kind of make out the word park, but it's also kind of art. It'll be, no one's gonna be, you know, sitting up here at 40 feet kind of looking at this angle, so it'll probably have a much different angle from the street as well. So this is a concept. We're kind of working through that. And then this is, if you were standing in the Cottonwood, at the Cottonwood Hotel at the pool looking straight west. This is another wall that we identified as something that will help us kind of screen the garage and also be an opportunity for public art. This is the piece on Harney Street. It's the artist. And certainly we could talk to the same artist and have some kind of a mimicked piece, or we could have a completely different artist, but we're kind of excited about that as well. So that is kind of that project for now. I'm going to talk about SaddleCreek, Streetcar, and anything else you guys want to talk about.
Do you have questions about each project after you, like?
Yeah, I can kind of keep rolling here.
Do you want questions about this project now?
I can kind of keep going. Yeah.
Whatever you like.
Oh, sorry, I forgot. I have this whole other part of it. Okay. So we have, sorry, this is completely new. Nobody has seen this, so you're getting kind of a sneak peek here. I might have to, we're going to roll out the brand next week. This is the brand. This is the brand of the building. It's called 37 West. There's a lot, if anyone's ever been through like a branding exercise, there's a lot behind it. But that's the name of it at the end of the day. So 37th Street is where the project is located. Nebraska is the 37th state entered into the Union. West is sort of a nod to the West Farnam district, which this area was historically called. So there's kind of some things going on there. This is kind of some different versions of the way that the logo might live. Kind of these marks here with this one kind of even has the West Farnam in it. Some are spelled out, some are not. So anyways, you're the first to see the logo. We're gonna put our banners up, I think, on Monday or Tuesday. So a little sneak peek here. So that's that project. I'm gonna shift gears here all the way down to SaddleCreek, and the old steel mill, the old steel castings plant. So this is a project I've been working on almost as long as Blackstone, for about 7 or 8 years. It's the land mass there is about 25, 30 acres between Leavenworth and Dodge and SaddleCreek and 48th Street. It's kind of a big triangle. So I've been working with the Med Center on that for a really long time. At one point, they actually wanted to rip this building down, and I feel like I was a part of talking them out of it. And now this project is happening. So if you drive by the site today, it's under construction. We've taken all the kind of exterior material off, and you can it's really cool. You can see the old skeleton of the two parts of the two old steel plants. So we partnered with a company out of Denver, Colorado called Coble and Company. They're a 4th generation real estate company that is excited about they're doing business outside of the state of Colorado for the first time ever, and we're partnered with them and the Med Center to turn this into a state-of-the-art medical, not a medical office building, but an office building with healthcare related tenants. This is a model that our Denver partners did in Denver about 6 years ago in the River North District, where they partnered with UC Health, and they only leased to healthcare tenants. Yeah, Tom?
Being on SaddleCreek, is there any water issues that you guys?
Not that I know of. I mean, certainly we know, everyone knows the road floods.
Yeah.
This is up out of that. I think that this is way outside of my pay grade and my project scope, but there's going to be, as everybody here knows, a lot of work in the roads. Farnam, and now that's all torn up, and SaddleCreek, but that it's all supposed to be solved. Omaha Public Works and the kind of design of Leavenworth and SaddleCreek as well. It's a big project, so I hope not.
Yeah, we do too. Beautiful.
So, sorry, this would be looking southwest. So this would be like the cemetery up here, Leavenworth at the end. So this would be kind of the main entrance of the building. This is a brand new road that runs right through the center of the site, which will be 46th Street, or a to be named road. This is the opposite view, so you're looking back to the north. And again, this is kind of this new road that, sorry, I don't have a site plan I should have brought. This is this main new road that really is a continuation of 46th Street to Leavenworth. That kind of runs through, so this is the site looking back to the north. A little bit better view here. You kind of get some perspective of the new road and how the two buildings kind of come together there. Oops. I have a little bit. It's a little bit confusing. There's actually two buildings here that we're linking together with a glass atrium. The total project is 150,000 square feet. The Med Center has about 30,000 square feet of that. The rest of it we are leasing. There is a small restaurant component and an event hall as well, but mostly it'll be an office building to support the needs of the Med Center. This is the first time really in the history, modern history of the Med Center, where like a third party office tenant has the ability to come in and lease space on campus. So we're all pretty excited about it.
So, Jay?
Yeah.
We're basically, the west is behind us, we're looking towards downtown, and this is a new road.
Opposite of that.
So that's not SaddleCreek there, but that's got a parallel SaddleCreek?
So this is west.
Okay.
This is the 52nd and Leavenworth at the Elmwood Tower.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so you're looking north, and then this is a north-south road that is like if you're in front of Raskeller, that's 46th Street. It'll almost be like that continues. They're actually building a roundabout right there.
Okay.
continues through. Timeline, we've already broken ground. They're building, there's gonna be a big groundbreaking ceremony, press release, media kind of thing going on, I believe on the, in 2 weeks, I can't remember what the day, the 8th or 9th or something like that, so again, you're kind of first to see some of these images and.
So is that part of the innovation hub, what they call the innovation hub?
Yeah, I believe there'll be a new big brand for the neighborhood. So like I would compare this to like on the same scale as like an Exarban Village. So there'll be $500 to $800 million worth of buildings that rise up on that 30 acres of land over the course of the next 10 to 15 years. So that there will be a name for that. Something.
Fireworks.
Just what about a space south of the building to Levin's? Is that gonna be a parking lot or a garden or what's under the power line there?
So like where Jiffy Lube
Yeah.
was, and so I think the priority there, I think, is the city of Omaha is gonna kind of get all the intersections situated. I think they kind of like they've done on Leavenworth too, they wanna create these entrance points to the campus that are art or greenery or whatnot, so the campus is such a intimidating thing for so many people. I think they're trying to soften the edges, so I think that's probably what they'll do on that. I'm only working on this one building for now, but sorry, I thought you were.
So really, October 2024?
That's the plan. Yeah, now what that doesn't include is all the individual tenant build-outs, which, the building itself, just like across the street, right? Like we were done with the common areas a year or so ago, but as the building fills up, that's a separate sort of schedule based on who signs leases. So that's an interesting project. You'll hear a lot about it more in the news. I think they'll have 2 or 3 other components that they will, again, if you compare it to Exarban Village, you'll kind of start to see the buildings and the different pieces as they announce them and come together. But this will be the first one.
So is that when you say they, is that Med Center driven?
That is 100% the Med Center. Yep. And your Brian Spencer, who will be your next
In July.
speaker in July. Yeah.
He's got a lot to present.
Yeah. This really is not my job anymore. It was about 6 years ago. I was the streetcar guy.
Somebody's got to be the street.
I got talked into that one, yeah. So lots of great information out there. I'm not really the messenger anymore, but I still know a lot about it, obviously, and it impacts everything that we do pretty dramatically. So there's a great website out there. If you want to talk streetcar, I'm happy to try and answer questions today. This information's out there. For those that are not familiar, this is the route.
Can you tell us what it is? I can't really see it.
Yeah, sure. So here we are sitting right on 36th and Farnam, and the west terminus is 42nd and Farnam.
Right now.
There's kind of a tail there after you get past Moolah and cheeseburgers and whatnot, and then so there's 2 tracks. There's one that goes east and there's one that goes west, and they're embedded in the road, and the cars travel in the same travel lanes. As it goes east past Turner Park, it breaks off, and the eastbound lane goes on Harney only, and the westbound section is on Farnam only. And then it comes back together on 10th Street and kind of loops through the old ConAgra campus where they're being redeveloped right now. It's called Mercantile something. And then comes down to CHI Health Center and not quite to the baseball field. So it's about a 3.3 mile total stretch. Most common question. So there'll be each car can hold about 200 people. The frequency is about 10 minutes. It's free to ride.
Free?
What? Sorry.
Did you say how much will it cost to ride?
It's free.
I thought you said free.
Yeah.
I was like,
No, I heard. Yeah. Yep.
oh.
Largely based off of the Kansas City model, which they're now expanding to the Plaza. They've had a lot of success with that. And then I thought this is a little bit more kind of inside baseball here. I think HDR had an open house a month or so ago, and they released sort of the preliminary stop location. So I just kind of grabbed some screenshots of those for our neighborhood. So this is the Cottonwood here where we're sitting. Here's the pool out back, and so this is the eastbound stop in Blackstone. The eastbound stop in Blackstone sits kind of right in front of the pool club here, going that way. And then this is the westbound stop on this intersection at 37th and Farnam, right in front of Rhonda and Wayne's house. So these are the two stops on the eastern side of our district. And then this is kind of representative of the spacing throughout the entire system. The next set of stops are 2 blocks away, 2 long blocks away, on the busy corner of 39th and Farnam. So for those that are familiar, this is the Night Owl. This is the Meatball building is here. Butterfish was here. So you have your eastbound stop sitting on the west side of the intersection, and then the westbound stop sitting on the east side of the intersection. So.
And there's still room for autos?
No, there couldn't be, would there?
Yes, yeah. So the cars, the streetcars, as they drive with cars, so they share the same travel path. The stops themselves are no different than like a parking lane.
Yeah.
So the streetcar pulls closer to the curb for the stop, and then, am I hearing that right? Right, it stays right in the lane.
I think it stays right in the lane. Yeah, I think their goal is like level boarding most of the time, and so they create these. They're not very robust stops, but level boarding. So, which makes is
So the question, of course, is if you're in the car, you wait for the streetcar to board and then you continue.
yeah.
Or get off.
Or if there's an opportunity to pass, I think that there might be turn lanes and stuff like that. But primarily, you're stuck behind the streetcar. Yeah.
I know the map I saw that was in front of our house, all of the parking that's in front of our house will be gone. And that'll be the platform for the onboarding, offboarding for the streetcar. So it will cost some parking spaces.
Yeah. So like.
But across the street
There's
will
gonna
be a parking rush.
385 of them.
Yeah, 385
Already
cars.
a parking problem.
I know, we're trying to solve that
with the-
every day.
Yeah.
Why do they think this is going to be so successful when our buses are going back and forth up and down Dodge empty all the time? What's going to fill these up?
Well, I think there's kind of two different modes, so buses first of all, the buses aren't empty, right? I'm on the Metro board. I have been for a decade. We have close to 4.5 million passengers per year that use that system, that need it every day. The Orange bus system just celebrated their 1 millionth ride. But buses and streetcar systems
The
are.
ones on Dodge look like they're empty.
Yeah, you don't.
That is the
They're not
perception.
full.
That is the perception. Yeah.
I used to-
Yeah, my car's not full that I drive around all day either. It's just me in the front seat, and the other 4 seats are empty. But this is primarily an economic development vehicle, and it connects parking, and it connects Midtown to downtown. And these parking garages that the city is buying and building. We want to kind of connect it. Think almost like an airport tram, and you're trying to get from one terminal to the next. You can certainly walk that distance, but it's going to take a really long time, and they call it it's a parking mobility system. So that's about as succinctly as I can try to describe it. But it's intended to create buildings where parking lots have grown over the last 5 decades and bring some life back into the core.
Yeah, I used to Chicago time.
Yeah.
Will they be able to put like bikes on that?
Yeah.
And then if two people or and one's slower than the other, maybe have issues or not, and the train stops, and then Beavis and Butthead are gonna put their bikes on it, and it takes a while, and it stops, and.
Well, there are-
And trying to hook it up, I mean, will they go on the front of this, or will they go on the back?
I think they go in the middle. It's actually similar to Orbit, the bus rapid transit,
I've
where
never
you.
rode that, so. tell
Yeah,
me.
you should check it out. It's
Bring
cool.
it on board, or?
Yeah, you bring it on board. You kind of put,
So
you know.
it doesn't go on the outside.
No,
front
that-
or
I mean-
back, it comes with you.
Correct.
Okay.
And it's kind of like a little section. I think it's sort of combined with the ADA section where
Oh,
you
okay.
wheel it up and hang it on a little rack. So, but there's drivers too, right? So it's not like these things are just kind of ghost trains. I mean, I think they will slow down if they need to slow down and make sure people get on and off. And
I went down to the one on Kansas City,
yeah,
and I was very impressed. I mean, it was pretty neat.
It's
When we
pretty
got
cool.
to- When we got to the end of the thing, and I was worried about, because it's free, and it's snowing and really cold in Nebraska.
yeah,
Whereas in Kansas City, is it gonna be a warm spot to sleep?
yeah.
And when I went down to Kansas City, me and my wife, they took us down to the end, I was down south. And they made everybody get off, and the driver got off this end and walked around and got on that end. And we went down to like the market area. It was really nice.
That's
But-
I mean, that's the beauty of living in Omaha. I sort of half jokingly say a lot of times is we don't usually try things first. So
I'm sorry.
Kansas City worked out a lot of the problems for us in their system, and they've had a lot of learning lessons.
Will we have the ability to, so mean, to, not let someone stay on there 24 hours a day?
Yeah, I mean they have. It's,
So it isn't just, I've been downtown Denver and a lot of, this whole tent cities, I mean, like Sacramento, I mean, it was eye-opening to me, and I haven't been there, especially Sacramento, for 20 years, and downtown Denver, I haven't been there in 10 years, but when I went there, I went, whoa, when I rode the streetcar down, I liked it, I rode it, but I also,
yeah, I mean there's
learned a lot.
Yeah, there's a lot of lessons learned, and I think best practices. I don't know all the policies. I know that in Kansas City, sort of the easiest to explain and what's worked best for them is you have to deboard at the end of the line.
Correct.
That's one thing, and then really they kind of operate on a like, are you bothering someone premise? Sort of that's the test, right? Are you, regardless of your situation, are you loud? Are you physically interrupting someone, or and I think that can apply to all kinds of folks, but
I
yeah.
had a great experience. I'm really glad I went and did it, but I just saw the one driver with, I would say, a couple hundred people on it on a Saturday at 11 o'clock, and I thought
In Kansas
everything
City.
was nice, but sometimes not everything is nice.
Yep. Yeah, I think they'll look to a lot of the peer cities with operations, and there's been a lot of best practice lessons learned, and I think they continue to learn those.
I downloaded pictures of Portland when they were building the streetcar system there, and I looked at the disruption in the streets when they did that. How do you think the disruption in the streets are going to affect the businesses, the retail businesses on
Hopefully minimally. I think I actually drove the whole construction line down in Kansas City about 2 months ago. They're expanding their streetcar down to the plaza, and I drove the whole construction route. They do a really good job of maintaining access to all the businesses. They put like big steel plates, they're in the street kind of doing construction, and then they put big steel plates down so you can walk across. There's different ways to do it. I think Kansas City, I'm told, this is all kind of things I've been told, Kansas City had a policy of like never block my front door, and then Milwaukee had a little bit different policy of like rip the Band-Aid off. And so there's kind of pros and cons to each of those approaches. HDR and Kiewit, who's the design build team on this project, I think they'll be starting some kickoff meetings here shortly for all the folks that are, all the stakeholders that are on the line, whether they're business owners or property owners. And I'm sure there's going to be a lot of, colorful debate about what's the best philosophy and how do you do it. And
There's some intersections affected, like Turner Boulevard and Harding, that'll be totally shut down.
yeah, I don't know the details of that. I think there's a lot of different approaches. Again, I think that
Not
they're
there, they have to shut it down, there'll be no traffic on Harding.
was not aware of that.
Well, if you look at the pictures, when they come in the center lane at Turner Boulevard, go over 3 lanes to the south side of Harding, they encompass the whole intersection. And if you look at the pictures in Portland, when they do that, it shuts down every lane.
During construction.
Yes.
Got it. Be a great topic for Kiewit HDR.
They already don't like the topic.
Great. They're getting paid a lot of money to listen.
They didn't like the pictures I sent them either.
I'll tell you another story though. If you look at a picture of Portland before they started the streetcar project, it was a city full of parking lots, empty, which is the exact same picture of what a lot of downtown Omaha looks like today. That was 20 years ago, and it has completely, along with Denver and some other cities, completely transformed that city from a sort of an urban wasteland of empty parking lots and vacant lots to life, to buildings, jobs, and residents. So there'll certainly be some growing pains here, but I passionately believe it's going to be an amazing thing for Omaha.
On Hardy Street, will they keep the bike lane there and train?
I believe that's the intent, but yeah, I'm not the expert here, so I don't. What I've heard last was the intention was to have both bike and, big picture, more modes the better. The less sort of single occupant vehicles, which I'm guilty of, is the goal.
I mean, I remember way down on 10th Street where Conagra, what was Conagra called before Conagra?
Jobbers Canyon.
Jobbers Canyon. I remember that was.
Don't get me started,
that was
That's a bad one.
that was a lot. That was many years ago with the transformation we did down there. But in my business, when we back up semis.
Yeah, I've talked to Danny Bagley specifically about you. He told me you guys
It's 3 lanes and only 103 years I've never been on the map of the city, never bothered anybody. But now I cannot load 10,000 pounds of brass or bronze in 3 minutes. And I can see, you said 200 people per car. Let's just say College World, well, I won't do it during that. But I mean, when you guys order anything on Amazon and say, hey, deliver this to my house, Amazon will tell you 2 minutes ahead, hey, by the way, you got delivery. You don't get to tell Amazon everything I only want to deliver between 2 and 10 on a Thursday because my nails will be done by then and then I'll be there. I mean, when I order stuff, I just got a big shipment from India and I ordered it about 5.5 months ago and I got a shipment from India coming in and I don't know the freight coming in. I might block this train.
I will say
for 10 minutes.
I know, but
and I don't want some guy get on and come out to my guys and say, son of a bitch, you gotta be to work, and I'm going, I never bothered anybody in 103 years, but you guys.
So Tom, I've got
I'm worried about that.
two outlets for you to voice all this stuff.
Please.
One is the Omaha Streetcar Authority meets once a month down in the city. They
Well,
meet.
I've been to all the meetings.
Got it. So that's a good place. And then again, HDR and Kiewit are going to be. They're going to start kickoff meetings. So Matt or Jim, we can connect you with the project manager.
I want this to go, but I don't wanna be the nail in the tire, you know?
Yeah.
But I've been to the meetings and it seems like it's just gonna mow over me, but when reality hits the road, I might be the one blocking the road. And I've never been a problem in 103 years.
Well, there's 20 or 30 of these things around the country, and they've run into a lot of unique challenges. And I'm sure that where there's a will, there's a way, and there's a lot of smart folks involved. And I would like to think they can figure something out. But
Thank you.
yeah.
Jay, what are you foreseeing will be the businesses that would most likely fit in the bays for the retail of the building over here facing Farnam Streets?
So there's just for easy math, we have 8 bays, and there's a common apartment corridor in between. 4 of the bays we pre-designed for some kind of food and beverage use, just because that's kind of what works and is in this neighborhood. Because you have to plan on a 9-story building, you have to pre-plan shafts and water and gas and grease and power. And so 4 of the bays, think of it as like 2 boxes. Basically the 4 corners, the 2 outside corners and the 2 inside corners, we believe will be food and beverage. Now some of those might be like full-on grilling steaks and burgers with a big hood, and another one might just be like a juice bar or a bar or something like that. And then the other 4 bays, I'm actually really excited about this idea. It's sort of a new concept that we've been piloting across the street, where in an office context, where you build out move-in ready offices. They're called spec suites is what they're called in the industry. But if anybody here has ever rented commercial space and you have to do a build out and everything, it's like really intense. You have to hire an architect and a contractor and get a bank loan and get a permit and build it and this and that, and the barrier to entry is really intense. So, and those are for like somewhat sophisticated business owners. We want retail, like boutique startup type folks, and so that hill is an even bigger hill to climb for them. So we're going to deliver 4 of the bays that are move-in ready, which means there's bathroom, and they have a certificate of occupancy. There's drywall. So imagine you lease it to XYZ boutique tea shop or clothing store or some other non-bar, non-restaurant use, where they literally could sign a lease, go to Lowe's, buy a can of paint, get some furniture, bring in their inventory, and like be open in like less than 30 days, maybe even a week or 2, when the traditional leasing situation is almost like a year. And that kills like almost all deals. And so we want locals, we want local tenants, we want unique uses, and when you present those challenges, that becomes a lot harder.
I can't tell from the setback of the building, will there be room that you could sit outside?
Yeah. No, there was so the modern side, like out, unlike in front of Coneflower, those are 5-foot sidewalks. So we have a full 10-foot sidewalk from the curb to kind of the envelope of the building. But then even the building, imagine this is a 10-foot sidewalk. The building has a big overhang awning, and so then there's a whole other about 10-foot section to really open that up. We want it to be, we actually pre-designed a lot of the storefronts to be operable. That was kind of like a post-COVID revelation for a lot of people. You see like at the food hall and Script Town just added, we didn't think about these things, whatever, I guess, in the past, and now we are, so. Yeah, the retail bays, no, I don't know what we would necessarily furnish them with. Maybe like point of sale counters or something. I could see that could be kind of cool. But I hadn't thought of that.
Then what's the square footage?
I think our smallest bay is around 1,200 square feet, which is pretty small. So like if you know the like Noli's Cheeseburgers building, those bays are about 900 square feet. So just to give you like context, so small. I love small bays. It's where you get the most interesting, sustainable things.
You were talking about the Kiewit building across the street.
Yeah.
Are they gonna be on the main level or up above?
Those are up throughout on the 9th floor and on the 3rd and 4th. They're offices. The spec offices are up on the 3rd and 4th floor and the 9th floor.
How's the occupancy?
60% occupied. So starting at 10% because Berkshire has stayed.
Oh, they're still there.
They have 2 floors. Well, there is no 13th floor, but the 14th and 15th floor, I think. Yeah.
Has there been any discussion, the WWT building, when they're gonna take that down, that mosaic that's there, incorporating that art to the new building someplace, or someplace else in the neighborhood?
Yeah, so the they is me in that conversation. We are looking to knock that building down and build a new building. I met someone that was with you at the streetcar open house, and I got his
That was
car.
probably Rich from
Yeah.
Bank of the West.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I love that mural. There was another one down in the other WOT building down where the Peregrine Hotel is.
Yeah.
That they tried to save, and I don't know if they did. But I would love to save that mural. I'd actually like to take it down somehow. I don't know, number the pieces and reincorporate it into like a new structure.
Yeah.
Could be like a piece of art, even if it was only a part of it or something. I don't know how easily those tiles come off, and
Well, they just did it in Lincoln.
yeah,
Yeah, so I'm sure it's doable.
yeah, I love those. I know for sure there were 2 of them. That one, because that was WWT. I learned this the other day too. The WW and of the WWT is Woodman of the World. That's where it
Yeah,
started.
yeah.
Okay.
That was Rich too. I had
Yeah.
no idea.
I told him
He's a
that.
wealth of
Did you
knowledge.
tell
I told him that,
Oh,
and he
okay.
said, "I learned something new
I
today."
never heard that. That makes sense.
I did. Here's not back to Streetcar, if that's a can of worms, but this is the schedule. So, kind of big. We're here, 2023. I think you'll see construction happen starting next summer, and then ultimately be they test the line. They run the cars up and down the line throughout 2025, last half of 25, and then open in 26. Thought somebody might want to know that. So I'm not the streetcar guy anymore, thank goodness. Can't handle these anymore, Tom.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.